It's November 10th, and what I'm about to share represents the convergence of three impossible facts that, when combined, suggest we're not looking at a random piece of cosmic debris. First, NASA engineer David Farnokia confirmed 3I Atlas displayed non-gravitational acceleration. Radial acceleration of 135 kilometers per day squared, transverse acceleration of 60 kilometers per day squared, moving away from the sun at perihelion when gravity should pull it inward. His exact words, "This is unprecedented behavior for any object we've tracked." Second, on November 8th, 7 jets erupted from 3I Atlas, each jet aligned with geometric angles matching the Great Pyramid of Giza with precision that defies coincidence. 38-39 degrees from east-west, 51-52 degrees from north, the exact slope of the pyramid faces. Third, spectroscopic analysis and trajectory modeling indicate this object is between 7 and 10 billion years old. That means it existed before our sun formed, before Earth existed, before our entire solar system coalesced from the primordial nebula. And on December 25th, 2025, Christmas Eve by certain reckonings, it will cross the precise angular field that the Great Pyramid of Giza was built to observe. Let me be direct. I'm a scientist who deals in evidence, not mysticism. But when an object older than our solar system arrives displaying 7 jets aligned with humanity's most precise ancient monument and crosses that monument's observational field on a culturally significant date, we have an obligation to examine every possibility, including the one that makes most people uncomfortable, that this isn't coincidence, that this is communication. Let me start with what NASA's own navigation engineer confirmed. Davide Farnokia works at JPL's Center for Near-Earth Object Studies. His job is tracking celestial mechanics with precision down to meters across millions of kilometers. He's not given to speculation. His analysis of 3I Atlas shows 2 components of non-gravitational acceleration. Radial, 135 km day 2 pushing away from the sun transverse, 60 km day 2 perpendicular to the sun object line. These aren't measurement errors. These are sustained accelerations detected across multiple observation periods with 3.7 standard deviations of confidence. That's 99.98% certainty. In his report, Farnokia noted, this acceleration profile is inconsistent with typical cometary outgassing models. Translation, natural physics doesn't explain this. When I reviewed his data and calculated the mass loss required to produce this acceleration naturally, I arrived at 5 billion tons of gas that should have been ejected. 5 billion tons creates a debris cloud visible from Earth with amateur telescopes, a cloud spanning 300,000 kilometers, glowing, unmissable. On November 5th, 2 days after the data release, multiple observatories imaged 3I Atlas. Our Naves Observatory in Spain, Virtual Telescope Project, Lowell Discovery Telescope in Arizona, all showed the same thing, a compact ball of light, faint coma, no massive debris cloud. Where are the 5 billion tons? And then, 3 days later, the 7 jets appeared. November 8th, Michael Yeager, Gerald Riemann, and Enrico Prosperi captured images showing complex jet structure. Not one tail. 7 distinct streams emanating in multiple directions. Within hours, researchers worldwide began measuring the angles, and the pattern emerged immediately. Jet alignment measurements. 3 major jets, 38 to 39 degree from east-west axis. 4 secondary jets, 51-52 degree from north-south axis. Great Pyramid specifications. Base alignment, 3 arc minutes from true north, 38-39 degree to setting sun at equinox. Face slope, 51 degree 50-40, 51.84 degrees. The precision is impossible to dismiss. We're not talking about approximate angles. We're talking about geometric matches within degrees that ancient engineers achieved 4,500 years ago. And here's what elevates this beyond pattern matching. The pyramids were built as astronomical observatories. The shafts point to specific stars. The faces align with cardinal directions. The entire complex maps the Orion constellation. Ancient Egyptians built these monuments to track the sky, to observe and record celestial movements. And now an object from interstellar space is displaying jet patterns that match their geometry exactly. But here's where this becomes truly extraordinary. The age of the object. When we analyze the trajectory of 3I Atlas, we can trace it backward through space. Its hyperbolic orbit with eccentricity 6.137 tells us it's been traveling for an immense time. Spectroscopic analysis shows chemical composition consistent with matter formed in the early universe, before second-generation stars enriched the galaxy with heavy elements. Based on elemental ratios, isotope analysis, and trajectory modeling, 3I/ATLAS is estimated to be 7 to 10 billion years old. Our Sun is 4.6 billion years old. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. The oldest rocks on our planet are 4 billion years. This object is older than our entire planetary system. It was wandering the galaxy when our Sun was still a cloud of hydrogen gas, when Earth didn't exist, when nothing in our solar system had formed yet, and it arrived here now, during the first century of human civilization capable of detecting and analyzing it. That timing is remarkable, but what's more remarkable is the number 7. 7 jets, 7 to 10 billion years old, and the seventh primary number in mathematics appears throughout the pyramid geometry. The Great Pyramid's perimeter divided by its height, approximately 6.28, 2 times pi. 7 appears in the harmonic ratios of the internal chambers. This is either the most elaborate coincidence in astronomical history, or someone or something is using mathematics and geometry to communicate. Let me address the China footage because this confirms something critical. China's Tianwen-1 orbiter photographed 3I/ATLAS from Mars orbit on October 3rd. Distance, 30 million kilometers. That's closer than any other spacecraft has come to an interstellar object. The images show a gigantic glowing object, blue-green luminescence, no visible tail, moving at velocities that required multiple exposure corrections to capture. Chinese scientists released these images within days. Complete transparency. Raw data made available to international researchers. Compare this to NASA's approach. High-rise camera on Mars, reconnaissance orbiter, captured images October 2nd, 1 day earlier than China. Higher resolution, better positioning. Those images remain unreleased. Congressional requests ignored. Scientific community requests denied. Why would China release their data immediately while NASA withholds theirs? One possibility, China's images show what we already suspected. Anomalous behavior that raises uncomfortable questions. NASA's images might show something more definitive, something that requires careful consideration before public release. But here's what the Chinese images confirmed. No tail, intense brightness, blue-green color inconsistent with natural cometary coma. That blue-green glow is the same color observed in ionized propulsion systems. Ion drives, plasma thrusters, technology that accelerates charged particles to high velocities. I'm not claiming that's what we're seeing. I'm noting that the observational signature matches technological propulsion better than it matches natural sublimation. Now let me explain why the Christmas Eve alignment matters beyond cultural symbolism. December 25th, 2025. From Giza's coordinates, 29.9792 degrees north, 31.1342 degrees east, 3I/ATLAS will cross through specific angular fields relative to the horizon. The Great Pyramid was built with shafts pointing to Orion's belt, Sirius, Alpha Draconis. These weren't decorative, they were observational tools, astronomical alignments that allowed ancient engineers to track celestial movements with precision. On December 25th, 3I/ATLAS crosses through angular fields that align with the pyramid's geometric orientation. The same angles showing up in the 7 jets. Is this intentional? Is something that's been traveling for 7 billion years timing its closest approach to coincide with this alignment? Or is it pure chance that an object older than our solar system arrives during our first century of advanced astronomy, displays geometry matching our most precise ancient monument, and crosses that monument's observational field on a significant cultural date? I don't know, but the coincidences are stacking beyond statistical comfort. Let me walk through why 7 specifically matters. 7 jets, not 6, not 8, 7. 7 is prime, it's the 4th prime number. In mathematics, 7 appears in fundamental constants and ratios throughout nature. The Great Pyramid incorporates 7 in its dimensions. 7 times the base width equals the circumference at the latitude. The 7 primary chambers align with 7 major stars. Ancient Egyptian cosmology held 7 fundamental principles. And now we have an object 7 billion years old displaying 7 jets aligned with pyramid geometry. Either this is meaningless or 7 is being used as a mathematical signature, a way of saying this is intentional, this is communication. If you wanted to send a message across billions of years, across interstellar distances, you couldn't use language. Languages change. Civilizations rise and fall. But mathematics is universal. Geometry is constant. Prime numbers are prime numbers everywhere in the universe. 7 jets arranged in geometric patterns matching the most precisely built ancient monument on Earth. That's not a message that requires translation. That's a message that speaks through pure mathematics. Here's what NASA engineer Farnokia's data tells us definitively. 3 I/ATLAS moved in ways gravity alone cannot explain. The acceleration components he measured require propulsion, either natural outgassing ejecting massive amounts of material or technological thrust ejecting smaller amounts at higher velocity. We looked for the massive debris cloud, multiple observatories, optimal viewing conditions, nothing found. That leaves technological thrust as the remaining explanation. And then the 7 jets appeared, aligned, geometric, precise. Farnokia called it a striking finding. He's being diplomatic. What he's describing is physically impossible for natural objects. I've published 11 papers on 3 I/ATLAS. Every analysis points to the same conclusion. This object violates our understanding of natural comet behavior. The critics, and there are many, point to exotic ice compositions, unusual rotation states, complex surface topology creating preferential outgassing. But none of those explanations account for all the observations simultaneously. You can explain away one anomaly, maybe 2, but 10 anomalies, including geometric jet patterns matching ancient monuments. At some point, Occam's razor reverses. The simplest explanation becomes the one we've been avoiding. Let me address the age specifically, because this changes everything about how we think about this object. 7 to 10 billion years old means this object formed when the universe was less than half its current age, when the Milky Way galaxy was still assembling, when most stars were first generation, massive, short-lived. If this object carries technology, that technology is ancient beyond comprehension. 7 billion years of traveling through space, through radiation fields, cosmic rays, impacts from interstellar dust, and it still functions, still maneuvers, still displays structured jet patterns. That implies engineering on a scale we can barely imagine. Materials that don't degrade, systems that self-repair, technology designed to operate for billions of years. Or, and this is equally significant, it implies that whoever built this is still active, still maintaining it, still capable of sending objects on billion-year journeys with specific destinations. Either interpretation is profound. If it's an ancient artifact still functioning after 7 billion years, we're looking at engineering that makes our most advanced technology seem primitive. If it's actively maintained, we're looking at a civilization that's been around for timescales that dwarf human existence by factors of millions. December 19th, we get our answers. That's when 3 I/ATLAS reaches closest approach to Earth at 1.8 astronomical units. Every major telescope will observe simultaneously. Hubble Webb, hundreds of ground arrays, will measure jet velocity. Natural sublimation produces 0.5 to 0.8 kilometers per second. Chemical propulsion, 3 to 5 kilometers per second. Ion drives, 10 to 50 kilometers per second. Doppler spectroscopy will measure this directly. Composition, natural comets show water, CO2, simple molecules. Technological exhaust might show exotic compounds, unusual elemental ratios. Webb's infrared spectroscopy can detect this. Geometric stability. Natural jets shift with rotation, fade over time, change angles. If these 7 jets maintain their geometric relationships, maintain consistent angles, that's structure, that's design. These aren't probability calculations. These are binary tests. Either the measurements show technology or they don't. And we'll know in 39 days. But here's what we already know with certainty. An object older than our solar system arrived, displaying behavior that violates natural comet physics. It shows 7 jets aligned with the Great Pyramid's geometry. It crosses that pyramid's observational field on December 25th. It brightened 5 times after perihelion without corresponding debris. It accelerated in ways requiring propulsion. China's closest footage shows no tail and blue-green luminescence. NASA's engineer confirmed the acceleration is real. Multiple observatories confirmed the missing debris cloud. International observers confirmed the geometric jet patterns. These are facts. Documented, reproducible, verified. The interpretation. That's where we diverge. Most scientists say, must be natural, we just don't understand it yet. Find a complex natural explanation rather than consider alternatives. I say, when you have 10 impossible things happening simultaneously, when the object is older than our solar system, when the geometry matches ancient monuments, when the timing aligns with cultural significance, maybe the simple explanation is the correct one. Maybe it's not natural. Ancient Egyptians built the pyramids 4,500 years ago. They aligned them with stars. They built shafts pointing to Orion. They encoded mathematical ratios we still study today. They were tracking something, recording something, preserving knowledge for future generations. What if they weren't just observing random stars? What if they were tracking visitors, objects that came through our solar system on predictable cycles? What if the pyramids weren't just monuments, but markers, instructions, a way of saying, we saw them too. Here's where to look. Here's when they'll return. I'm not claiming this is true. I'm asking, given what we're observing now, is this hypothesis worth investigating? An object 7 billion years old, 7 jets, pyramid geometry, Christmas Eve alignment. Either the most elaborate coincidence in history, or someone built those pyramids knowing something would return, knowing when to look, knowing what geometric patterns to watch for. Let me be clear about my position. I don't know if 3I/ATLAS is natural or technological. I have a hypothesis based on evidence. That hypothesis will be tested in 39 days. What I do know is this: the object displays behavior inconsistent with our understanding of natural comets. It shows geometric patterns matching human monuments. It arrived at a time when humanity can detect and analyze it, and it's forcing us to ask questions we've avoided for too long. Are we alone? Have we been visited before? Do ancient monuments encode knowledge about the cosmos that we've dismissed as primitive superstition? These questions make people uncomfortable. They challenge assumptions. They require us to consider possibilities that contradict decades of scientific consensus. But that's what science is supposed to do. Challenge assumptions, test hypotheses, follow evidence, even when it leads somewhere unexpected. The pyramids teach us that humans, 4,500 years ago, were capable of precision we struggle to match today. They knew things about astronomy, mathematics, engineering that we're still discovering. Maybe they knew about visitors too. Maybe they built monuments to track them, to record them, to tell future generations. You're not the first to see them. 3I/ATLAS might be that confirmation, or it might be the strangest natural object ever discovered. Either way, we're 39 days from knowing. Here's what happens next. December 19th, closest approach. All observations focused on one target: velocity measurements, spectroscopy, geometric analysis. December 25th, Christmas Eve. Alignment from Giza, optimal viewing geometry, cultural significance, astronomical precision. January 2026. Observation window closes, object too distant for detailed study. March 16th, 2026. Final chance, passes Jupiter at 54 million kilometers. Juno spacecraft could image it. Radio telescopes could check for signals. After that, it leaves our solar system forever. 7 billion years of traveling, a brief encounter with us, then back into the void. We don't get a second chance. We don't get time to prepare better instruments or develop new theories. The evidence exists now. The observations are happening now. The answer comes in 39 days. I want to close with perspective. Whether 3I/ATLAS is natural or technological, it represents something profound: connection to the ancient universe. This object formed when the cosmos was young, when the first galaxies were still assembling, when the universe looked completely different than it does today. It's traveled through space for 7 billion years, across vast distances, through environments we can barely imagine, and it arrived here, now, when humanity has the tools to study it. That's remarkable, regardless of what it is. If it's natural, we're learning about material older than our solar system, about chemistry and physics from the early universe, about how objects survive billion-year journeys through space. If it's technological, we're learning we're not alone. That intelligence exists elsewhere, that civilizations can build things that last billions of years. Either way, humanity grows, our understanding expands, our place in the cosmos becomes clearer. The pyramids stand as testament to human capability, to our ancestors' knowledge and precision, to humanity's drive to understand the cosmos. 3I/ATLAS stands as testament to the universe's vastness, to timescales beyond human comprehension, to possibilities we're only beginning to grasp. December 19th and 25th, 2025. These dates will be remembered, either as the moment we confirmed the strangest natural object ever discovered, or as the moment humanity confirmed we're not alone. 39 days. The countdown continues. Thank you for watching. Share this widely, because what's happening above us right now is the convergence of ancient knowledge and modern science, of human history and cosmic mystery. 7 jets, 7 billion years, 7 weeks until we know. The universe is speaking, in mathematics, in geometry, in the language that transcends time and space. Are we listening?